Can you state your name and your qualification as a teacher?
So my name is Nicole Glodin. I am certified in elementary education, so EC through 6 in Texas. In Michigan, I'm certified K through 8. And then I have my ESL certification as well, and language arts.
Oh, okay. And what's the highest degree that you've received so far?
I have my bachelor's in education, and then I have 1/3 of my master's completed.
Okay, so you're still working on your master's then? And what are you working on your master's for?
Right now it's just elementary education, but will probably be like reading
Okay.
specialist. Yep.
Okay, very cool. What got you interested in teaching ESL students?
In high school, I actually did a program called Careers with Children, and we got to go into a classroom 2 or 3 days a week and actually like be an intern in a classroom. So that's when I was seeing like diverse classrooms, and I thought it was super interesting. And then when I went to college at Michigan State, a lot of my classes I took like global education classes, so it was so diverse. So that's what kind of made me interested in it.
Okay, I see. And how long have you been teaching ESL again?
3 years. Well, this is my third.
This is your third year teaching ESL. And how long have you been teaching?
3 years.
3 years? Okay, so you've always taught ESL.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Where do I go? What are your approaches to teaching English language learners?
Well, I have to use a lot of like TPR, so like it's all about giving them like emotion that goes to it and pictures, which for kindergarten they need anyway, but it's just reinforcing like when we're doing the alphabet, you'll always have like their letter and then a picture to go along with it and a hand motion. So they're learning in more than one way. So they're not just hearing it, they're seeing it and they're doing it. So that really helps ESL learners pick up the language because they're just totally immersed in our classroom.
Okay. So do you speak English and Spanish? Or
I don't speak Spanish.
You don't speak
so
Spanish?
I can't even help them in Spanish.
Okay.
So they know I don't speak Spanish, so they have to try. So with me, I'm like, I try to speak Spanish, so you have to try to, speak English, and because I don't know. So I think that helps too, because they know I don't understand them if they speak Spanish. So they work really hard to like convey their message or their feelings to me in English.
Yes, of course. So whenever you have your aide, she's your aide, right? The other teacher that brought me to you?
No, she teaches Spanish.
So she teaches Spanish.
And I teach English. So we're dual language. So we switch every other day.
Okay. Okay. And so y'all never work in the same classroom together at the same time? Y'all just trade off?
We do if it's like if we're sharing their presentations or we're doing like a big science experiment, we'll be in the same room, and then I'll be speaking English and she'll be saying it in Spanish.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, how is it to collaborate, or what ways do you work with your teacher so that y'all are on the same page?
So we talk every day, always. Like every night we go home and we all talk, but we plan together, so basically they're getting the same instruction in English and then they're getting it in Spanish, so they make a connection. So we do like the same, we have like a connections wall, so we go through like, okay, this is a circle, and then we say it in English and then they tell me in Spanish and we write it. So like they're just making connections all day, like, oh, I saw you doing this in the Spanish class, I might not understand you in English, but you do the same hand motions, so I make a connection. I know what you're saying.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And what made you want to teach kindergarten in particular?
I've always, like, in high school I was in a kindergarten classroom. Always wanted to teach the little kids. I did 1 year in 6th grade, or I was like an intern in 6th grade in college, and like, that's not where, I mean, it was fine, but I just connect more with like the little kids, and it's just more fun. And you're like their first, like you just see all the light bulbs like all year like go off in different times, and they start to read, and it's just exciting. So I like it.
And I feel like you also probably make a more substantial difference on the child at an earlier age, too.
Yeah, and I like it, too, because we're not just, like, teaching them, especially in this community, like, we're teaching them, like, how to live, like, how to be people.
Yeah, of
so
course.
We're teaching them, like, yesterday I taught a little kid how to use a spoon, because he didn't know.
Yeah.
So, like, you're teaching them things that they, like, really need in life. So that's why I like it.
So you said that you were with the 6th graders, right? At one point, with 6th graders at one point. Were they also ESL students?
So this was back in Michigan. Yes, there were. It was a very diverse. I've only worked in really like diverse schools. It was actually like a global, like diverse school.
Okay.
So yeah, and all my classes I had to take were geared towards ESL. So
what's the biggest difference you saw in teaching 6th graders in ESL to kindergarten in ESL?
Just the content. Like I was teaching, like reteaching myself the content before I could teach them, and then if they don't understand the academic vocabulary, they're, a lot of them were still learning like basic words in English, and then I was trying to teach them like math content, and they didn't understand. So that was the hardest part. Was like you had ones that were fine and were moving on, but then you had ones that didn't know the words you were saying.
Oh, okay.
So that was really difficult. Here, we're all kind of like on the same level of learning, which is a bigger difference in 6th grade.
That's cool. And right now the kids are where? What kind of instruction are they?
They're in ancillary, so they either go to art, library, PE, or they have a technology class.
So they're elective courses. And are those courses as well in Spanish or English or?
They're in English.
Okay.
I know the technology, when they go on certain apps, they have a Spanish support on them too. But
okay.
Yeah, they're all in English.
Do y'all ever collaborate with the elective teachers as well on like working with the goals for the students?
Yeah. Yeah, especially technology. They have programs that we do in here on the iPads that they do in technology also, where they're all on their own level working on like on an app.
Oh, okay.
So it like goes up and down if they know or they don't know.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's easy because it's an app, so technology has been a huge help for you as a teacher.
Yes.
Is there any other way that y'all incorporate technology in the classroom besides the apps?
Well, we have our huge iPad cart that they go on. They're taking now a lot of like screeners to like assess, and we get data from technology, and then we
Excuse me, we're gonna order again. Did you want anything?
No, okay, thank you. And then we have like our smart boards, and they're interactive. So like today we did graphing, and they got to actually like use the pens and color on the board to graph. So technology really helps us.
Good. I think those are all the questions I have for now. And if I think of anything else, I could probably just email you. But thank you so much for answering.
Do you want me to write my email down?
Sure. Thank you.